Hi, welcome to the Metal and Wood Shop. We're located in room 1211 at the Student Innovation Center. Here, we have some important safety protocols that we need to follow. We have a line here, and you have to have the proper PPE or personal protective equipment to cross this line. What we require in this shop is closed-toed shoes and closed-heeled shoes, long pants, and safety glasses. If you have long hair, it's a good idea to tie it back. Long sleeves, you should pull them up. Also, remove any loose or dangling jewelry such as watches, necklaces, and rings. And if you have strings on your sweatshirt, tie them or tuck them in. We ask that you scan in on our card readers and tell us why you're here. On our website, you can find a list of restricted materials, so as you're planning a project out, you know what you can and can't use. All of our tools in the shop have a designated safety level, and those levels correspond to the level of supervision that they need and the risk those tools provide. We also have everything locked, so when you come in, you need to talk to a shop supervisor and get the tool unlocked so that you can start your project. We look forward to seeing you soon.
This is the horizontal bandsaw found in room 0235 at the Student Innovation Center, known as the Heavy Metals Makerspace. You will use this machine to cut down large pieces of metal into more manageable pieces. It's not going to give you a very precise cut, but it will be close. This machine cannot cut thin metal or sheet metal very well due to the setup of the vise. It is a safety level 1, which means if a shop supervisor is working, one trained user can operate this machine. Raising the saw is done manually. You can grab the handle and lift. Be sure not to lift the saw too high. Stay within a reasonable distance of the part you're going to be cutting. The descent of the saw is controlled manually by one valve and one knob located on the bottom right of the machine. The valve is closed when it is perpendicular to the mechanism and the saw cannot travel downwards. When not operating the saw, please make sure it is in this position. When in line or parallel to the mechanism, the valve is open and the saw can descend. The knob controls the rate of the descent. Turning it clockwise or to the right slows down the descent, and turning it to the left speeds up the descent. You will get a feel for the speed better in the hands-on training. The large red button on the left is the emergency stop or e-stop. Use this if there is a suspected issue and you need to stop the machine quickly. The green button is the on button. This starts the saw blade. The red button is the off button. This is the coolant switch. It turns your coolant on and off. The red lever is your coolant flow adjustment. We will show you later how to properly set the coolant. Make sure you have lifted the saw into a position that will allow you to fit your materials into the vise. Place your material in the vise and align it close to where you want to cut. Bring the vise jaws close to the piece and then lower the blade to about a half an inch above your material. Inspect the saw blade and where you want to cut for alignment. Also inspect the orientation of your material. You should aim to have at least 3 teeth in contact with your metal during the cut. If not, you risk damaging the saw. This is the correct orientation. This would be the incorrect orientation. Once you are satisfied with the location and orientation of your cut, raise the blade back up slightly and make sure the valve is closed. Tighten the vise by turning the wheel on the side of the machine so that your piece is securely held. Start the saw. Turn on the coolant flow and slowly open the red lever. If you open it all the way or too fast, coolant will come gushing out and get everywhere. Adjust the red lever until that flow allows coolant to follow the blade down its length and it can cool and lubricate your cut. Coolant can be a skin irritant, so you are encouraged to wash your hands following the use of this saw. Once your coolant is properly set, open the valve and start to adjust the speed using the knob. Slower is usually better. If you hear screeching, your material moves, or the saw bounces, these are all issues and you need to hit the emergency stop. Once your cut is complete and the saw reaches the bottom of travel, it will automatically stop. You can then raise the saw back up above your workpiece and close the valve. Open the clamp by rotating the handle in the counterclockwise direction, hit the emergency stop, and remove your material. Metal, when cut, creates shavings called chips. These can be very sharp and should never be handled with bare hands. Use the provided scraper and dustpan to scrape up any chips from the vise or the tray and dispose of them into the metal recycling bin. Use paper towels to wipe up any remaining coolant on the unpainted metal surfaces and throw them away. If wanted, nitrile gloves can be provided. Finally, use WD-40 to spray down all of the exposed metal surfaces and prevent rust and corrosion.